Okay, hi there guys. It has been a long time since I last made a tutorial, and today we're gonna work on the library management system I told you about. So the way we're gonna work on this is gonna be a little bit different. We'll try to make our work more organized this time and give more thought to the design before we start actual programming. So probably there will be not much of programming today, or maybe there will be no programming at all. So first thing here, I'm gonna write the specs of the program. What are we expecting here? Okay, so I'm gonna okay, so here what we want we want to make this page for the specific specs. There we go. Okay, now what do you expect your program to achieve? Okay, so here there are a number of things. Okay, basically the program need to store information, book information, such as okay, so here we are writing the specification for the program. Basically we want to store book information, and these include author, title, year, okay, and also the location, for example. Okay, and if it is available, sorry, wait a minute, author, title, year, for example, press. Okay, and okay, so this is the first thing. Second, we probably have multiple books and multiple copies of the same book, so we want to it will be possible for us to store the copy of the book at different locations in the library. Basically you group them together, but just in case we will add such functionality. So store the location of the book within the library. Okay, okay, for example which shelf. Okay, and also store details of the people who borrowed that book. Okay, so if someone borrows the book, who's that person, for how long, and stuff like that. Okay, so who did that, when, for how long. Okay, also we want to store or make a queue for booking a specific title. What this means that if multiple people ask for a specific book and the book is not available because someone else borrowed it, they will go into queue and they will be notified when that book returns. Okay, so make queue for booking specific title. Okay, what we need to do also is, let me see, so make a queue, so did people borrow that. Okay, making a find system, making or let's say find students or people, or let me call them people here, people, in case they don't return the book on time, for example. What do we have also? We could allow multiple employees to work on the system using their PCs. Okay, so we'll have multiple employees working on that, and since we have multiple access on the same information, we will have to make some considerations here. Okay, and here we want also to allow web access into the system for students or slash people, so that they could book a title. Okay, and also let's say provide search functionalities for the for the system, for, let's call it, for the staff, and okay, and okay, maybe I'm not sure about the spelling. Okay, hopefully I'm not meaning a magician staff, but rather the staff who are working. Yeah, okay, and users. And 9, what do we have also? Provide such functionality for staff and users. Let's think about more. What do we need to provide? We want yeah, I guess that will allow us to easily develop the system. Okay, so basically here we wrote something like what are we expecting from our system. Okay, these are the very basics. Okay, so next we will let's see, I'm gonna insert a row here. I can say the system needs to provide the following. Okay, so this is what we need. Now we are gonna go into a little bit more details, specifying each item. What do we need? Okay, so the details of each the type of information. Let's say the type of information that needs to be stored into the system are as follows. Okay, so here let's see, for book information, 1, for books, store, okay, the following, store the following. Okay, so here we are gonna say A, book title, B, book author, C, publication year, D, the press. Okay, E, so what do we have? We have book author, title, publication year, press, let's call subject, F, keywords. Okay, these are some keywords that might interest you. Okay, what do we have also? Yep, What also do we have? And okay, and we have the borrow history. Okay, and here I'm trying to combine the history with the book because it's related to it. This has to do with the database design, but it's not exactly like that. Here we are thinking about the book as a complete unit. So we have the borrow history. Okay, we have, but also we have we could create some kind of queue for the book. Booking queue, and let's see. Let me say here GHI. We could also store available copies of that book, J, and the available copy total copies. There we go. So, and also JKL, also the location. Okay, and now the okay. Now the booking history, sorry, the borrow history has to do with storing borrower details. Okay, so okay, has to do with storing bookers. Is this even a word? I'm not sure. Bookers details. Okay. Here, what I mean by this, I'm gonna have a borrow object later on, and I will use it to store the information. Same goes here. Sorry. The available copies, total number of copies, location, and the library, okay. And here, what we are gonna store, we are gonna need to tell, for example, the location, the library, okay, has to do with the location, details. Okay, so this is the first thing. So this is about the book itself. Now, the other kind of information you want to store is the person, student, borrower, bookers details. Okay, and here the kind of information you want to store. We want to store name. Okay, we want to store the probably some kind of ident for identification. Okay, you assuming that these are students, so I'm gonna say here the year. Okay, so which year the student is in. Probably you can store more information, but yeah, I'm gonna say, I could say department and stuff like that in order to link it to the department's database or something like that, but I'm gonna ignore that for now. Okay, so it's gonna be name, year, D, I'm gonna say contact information, and probably maybe some kind of email if if you want your system to send emails, I'm not promising that I'm gonna use that, but just, you know, just the idea of it. Okay, so also we have to store the location information, location within library details. Okay, so what we have here, we are gonna need to store shelf number. Okay, maybe we want to maybe you have multiple story, this library is big and you have multiple levels or stories, and you want to you have the same number of shelves but at different stories. So for example, I'm gonna say here level sorry, or floor, okay, this should be B. Okay, so we have shelf, floor, and some other information. Okay, shelf number, let me say here section number, okay, and stuff like that. Okay. And obviously, since we have these, we mentioned a few number of things. Is that the staff need to access the system, of course. So we have staff information. So here there should be some kind of employee login name. Okay, B, there's employee name, and C, we want to add what? Employee login name, employee full name. Of course, there will be password for that person. There will be what do we have? Yeah, this is probably it. We don't need multiple lots of information to add here. Okay. 5. Also, we are gonna provide internet connectivity. So what that means, we need to provide user accounts. So user account / student account information. Okay, so the reason I'm separating that, okay, is that not everyone will be able to access the system from the internet. Well, maybe we should make our design a little bit easier, so any student who want to borrow could log in with their password. Okay, so here we're gonna use for the account itself, we're gonna use the student identification, student identification, and B, we are gonna what? Student identification, and also we are gonna let me see, student identification, and also there should be password. Okay, and I am gonna assume that the website is available only for the university. No, well, let's assume that the website is being accessed by VPN. The reason is that if the website is open to everyone, many people other than students will try to gain access to the system, and so when they register, there's no way to there is no easy way in our case to check for the if that person is a student or not, because we need the list of all registered student IDs already available in our database in order to approve the account or not. Okay, so yeah, but we have also the store about the account, booking list, okay, and borrow list, okay, and we have also fine information, okay, and we want to create a little bit of messaging system, okay. So it will be more like an email but within the system, in order to notify the student that he must pay his fines, or the book is now available and he should pick that book within let's say a day or two at maximum, otherwise it will go to the next available student, okay. Yeah, so this is pretty much it, and these are the basic kind of information we want to create or to store actually. So now I'm gonna work on I'm gonna work on this one and try to figure out the development steps now. So first I'm gonna save this work. Let's put it on the desktop here, and this is gonna be library management system development steps. There we go. And I'm gonna stop the recording for a second and start again, okay? Okay, and now continuing our work. So we put the basic kind of information that need to be stored in our system, and now basically we should assume the scenario that the system should work, how the system should work, okay. So here I'm gonna say scenario, for example. Well, I don't use that all the time, but basically if you specify things ahead, it will make your work easier, okay. Okay, this specifies how the system should behave, okay. So also during our design we want to make sure that these things are satisfied, okay. The first thing is that the employee logs into the system, okay, and okay, employee could select one of the following screens. Let's say screen A, let's say borrow a book in this case, or B, return a book, okay. Borrow a book is used in order to get a book from one of the shelves and deliver it to the student, and this obviously includes a number of things here. And returning a book would also do, what we want to do is searching for a book, okay. Also collecting sorry, there is also something related to fines, okay. The option of fines, and what do we have also, and there's borrow, return, search, and okay. There's also E, data entry, and this is important because you want to know how the information will be entered into the system. Yeah, probably you will need to use a barcode scanner or something like that. We didn't include that in the information, but you could assume that there is a barcode scanner, okay. actually using a barcode scanner makes it faster to enter the information. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go back here and say one of the information to enter is let's put okay, LM is the barcode, okay, and what this allows you later on is that when the employee want to give a book to the student, or for example the student would like to borrow a book, he could just scan the barcode and the information would appear right away. So this will make the employees work much faster, basically. Okay, so what do we have also? So we have, as we said, data entry, and also we have backup and restore operations, and also there will be some kind of permission, so not all the options will be available. And G, account management, let's say employee account management, okay, and GH, and there is also student account management, okay. Okay, so these are the available screen. So here 3 in the borrow a book window, the employee could do the following. 1, A, search by search for a book by its name, by any of its information. There we go. Okay, and so this is the first thing. Or B, use if the book is already there, so the employee could enter its barcode to fill its information. So basically A and B are the same option, but being executed in 2 ways. The first one is by searching, and the second one is by using the barcode scanner. Okay, so this achieves what? Entering the book information. Okay, these two enter book information. Say enter book info. Okay, I'm gonna say here enter book info option 2. There we go. So you enter number of books to be borrowed. C, next, student information. Okay, and D, okay, deadline to return the book. And obviously there is F, a warning should appear if the student has fines. Okay, and yeah, so this is basically what need to happen when student want to borrow a book. Okay, so there's also this G, if the book is not available, then the student request could be added to the queue. There we go. What do we have also? So we have this queue. As you can see, I'm taking lots of time writing these details, but this will make our work easier later on, because this is probably going to be a much bigger system. Anyway, let me see. And the book window employee could do the following. Okay, that's nice. Let's go to number 4. Okay, so next, after returning the book, returning the book. So here, returning the book basically means a enter book information enter book information using barcode or by searching for title, there we go. And B, what do we have? So enter book information, search for title, and also you might want to enter student information. This one is needed in case there are multiple copies of the book being borrowed. There we go. So if there are multiple copies of this book being borrowed, so you could identify which student borrowed that copy of the book. Okay, unless you have some kind of a paper on that book in order to tell you. Okay, or unless you assume that each copy has its own barcode ID, its own separate barcode, let's say. Okay, so what do we have? Enter book information, enter student information, and yeah, also checks for late fees. Okay, so the late fees could be paid now or later. Okay, probably. And yeah, okay, so 5, what do we also have to do? Searching for a book. Now when searching for book scenario, oops, this is a C, right? Scenario. Okay, so for searching for a book, we have what? Specify the which field you want to search for example the author, title, something like that, and specify the keywords. There we go. And C, display the results. Okay, and D, pick one of the results. There we go. And since we are using search at different location, it's very possible to create our own search control, and use that to make things easier later on during development. So let's save that again. What do we have to do next? We have to, let's say, we spoke about what? Okay, so now we are gonna speak about fines. Oops. Okay, so here, fine. Okay, so dealing with fines, search for a student. When the user goes to fines A, what we have to, what he should be able to, view all students who should pay fines. Okay, and B, you should be able to search those students. There we go. And C, after searching the student based on any of the information, he should be able to collect the money. Okay, and that should be it. Let's go to number 7. What do we have after fines? We have data entry. data entry. So for data entry we have A, enter shelf information, okay, and here we enter just the available list of locations, so that later on the employee should only pick the shelves, pick the location from a list and not enter it manually. And B, we have also enter book information, okay, and probably we could add some kind of an option, upload book information from CSV file or something like that. Okay, so what do we have also? Let's go to number 8, backup and restore. And here A, again we have backup window, and B we have restore window, and also yeah, let's see, student account management. Maybe there's also some kind of an option here that I forget. Oops, come on, and insert. Oops, I'm sorry, it's already there. Employee account management will have to do with the password change. Okay, so let's go to number 9, which is the employee account management. What should the employee see? Employee account management. Okay, so A, for normal employee, change password, that's it. B, for admin, reset password, should be able to reset password, add new employee, edit employee information. Okay, and let's go to number 10. What do we have? We have student account management. So for the student account management, what do we have? We have A, we have enter student information, and B, enter student well, yeah, reset student password. C, we have update student information, and we could for some reason suspend student account. Okay, for example, if the student hasn't paid any kind of fines, the account will be suspended. He'll be able to log in just to be informed about the fines, but you know, he won't be able to do anything else. So these are the basic scenarios that yeah, again, each one of these is very simple. There will be for this one you will be able to search for student information. This one you'll be able to update student information and stuff like that. So very basic stuff. Okay, so these are related to employees. Let's go to students. 11, student logs into the website. Okay, and here sorry, let's say student scenario. Okay, so A, student logs into the website. B, student could change, or let's say see her workspace, let's call it, or information. C, student could do what? The student could reset password. D, student could see the books that are available. For example, you reserve the number of books and or place a reserve on number of books, but these weren't available until later, so you could see these. And E, student could see the books he borrowed with deadline information. And F, student could search available books. And G, student could place a could book could place could book one of the titles. Okay, and I'm not sure I'm using the correct terms here, so sorry about the English here, but anyway, yeah, I guess GH. Student could, let's say, unbook a title. I, student could see the available message. J, student could contact the staff. Okay. Okay, what do we have also to do? Yeah, we said there's a messaging system, so there should be here. It has to do with student account management, right? So where is that? Student account management. Let's put something here. I'm gonna say insert. This is E. This display slash send email to slash from. Let's say from slash to student. There we go. And yeah, I guess that's it. These are the basic scenarios, or not exactly the scenarios, but the expected user interfaces to be available. There are quite many here. Okay, so we finished the second one. What we have to do next, we have to speak about DB design. Okay, and also we need to speak about what? We need to speak about development steps. There we go. So for now, I'm gonna stop the video now. The database design will be for the next tutorial, and because I don't have more time, I guess, so I will have to go after a few minutes. So I'm gonna upload this into the site, or maybe after I make some coding I will upload this. It will be much better, because you will not be able to do anything with this one right now. Okay, so I hope you will find this useful, just to know how to put the specs and the scenario, what you are expecting. Usually for your project, the specs are not being specified by you, it's being specified by the customer, and in many cases the scenario is specified by them too. So here we have a little bit of a freedom, and we specify these at the beginning, and we are assuming that these are specified by our customer here. Okay, so the next thing to do later on, we are going to speak about the database design and the development steps. Okay, so thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Goodbye.